Hi friends, it's Rabbi Briskin with a thought for Shabbat. Several days after the end of Passover, Israel observes 3 sacred civic days over the course of 1 week. Yom HaShoah, Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day. Yom HaZikaron, Israel's Memorial Day. And Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israel's Independence Day. Being in Israel at this time always provides me with some powerful experiences. On Yom HaShoah, then a week later on Yom HaZikaron, Israel stops to remember completely. At 10 o'clock a.m., sirens begin to wail, signaling the entire country to come to a complete standstill for 2 full minutes. People stand at their desks, in the supermarket aisles, and on the sidewalks in silent reverence. Cars stop on the city streets and highways as drivers exit from their vehicles and stand in solemn remembrance for 2 full minutes to honor the victims of the Holocaust on Yom HaShoah, then a week later to remember and honor Israel's soldiers who died in defense of the country on Yom HaZikaron. Then, once Yom HaZikaron ends, the country transitions into full celebratory mode as Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israel's Independence Day, concludes this week of sacred civic observances. These commemorations often take place in the public square and are more civic than religious. However, during a trip to Israel many years ago during this time, I experienced a ritual that added a new layer to this week of public observances. It's called Shabbat Tekumah, the Shabbat of Revival, which falls on the Shabbat between Yom HaShoah and Yom HaZikaron. The ritual takes place in Israeli synagogues, not in the public square. It is marked by liturgy, poetry, and song. As Rabbi Josh Weinberg writes, quote, "The process of revival that we commemorate expresses our people's revival from the ashes of the Holocaust, through the heroism and grief of Israeli wars, to the joy over the miracle of Jewish independence and sovereignty." Now, while we can't be in Israel for Shabbat Tekumah this year, we can bring the spirit of this ritual to Shir Ami. During our Shabbat service, we will commemorate that extraordinary period in the history of the Jewish people. Consider that we are just 80 years removed from 2 of the most seminal historical events in the entire history of the Jewish people: the destruction of European Jewry during the Shoah, and the establishment of a sovereign Jewish nation, the first in the last 2,000 years, just 3 years after the end of World War II. Yom HaShoah, Yom HaZikaron, and Yom Ha'atzmaut are more civic than religious. Shabbat Tekumah provides a more liturgical and religious framework to mark this moment that is still embedded in the consciousness of many who witnessed the horror and the triumph with their own eyes. So friends, please join us Friday night at 6:30 for this special Shabbat Tekumah, to mark ritually these sacred civic observances. Shabbat Shalom.